one of the ways that you've been able to help young people grow is by telling their story in a very unique way. And I know you've done this as a teacher, and that's to introduce poetry to your students. And I'm just curious because I know you introduced Kendrick Lamar to poetry, and I know he's been talking about you inspiring him, right, through poetry, through telling his story. So I want to hear that story, how it is that you found out that he was actually talking about you, having been one of the people that inspired him to tell his story through poetry.
I have a young lady that I mentored who became a teacher. So she calls me and she's like, so we had this rapper who came to my class today. I said, okay, and she's like, he talked about you the entire time. And I said, rapper? She's like, yeah. She said he kept talking about you and how you taught English and why he loved words so much. I said, what rapper? And she said, his name is K-Dot. I was like, K-Dot? I don't know K-Dot. I said, did he tell you his real name? She said, yes. Do you know Kendrick Duckworth? Yeah. I said, Colleen, I do know Kendrick Duckworth. I said, wait a minute. I said, Kendrick was in your class? And he said, yeah, Mr. Inge, Kendrick is a rapper. And he's coming up with this music. And I'm like, I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. So not too long after that, he texted me because his friends and I are very close. All his friends that you see on stage, I taught most of them too. So I got a text. He said, big bro, this is Kendrick. I said, Kendrick, what's going on? So we talking. I was teaching at Centennial. He said, I'm gonna come up there and see you. And he did. He was up there actually for homecoming. He did Centennial's homecoming. And so he's at a point today, man, I just sit back and, getting the Pulitzer and, these things. That means you have really taken your writing to a level to where you impact people around the world, man. With Kendrick, back in those days, there was a thesaurus. And so I read all my students' papers, every last word. So when Kendrick would bring me his work and all the rest of the students, I'll take their work. I'm taking that, I got a pen right here, check this, revise this right here, put down. And I give it back to him. I said, Kendrick, all these words that are circled, go get that thesaurus. And I want you to go find a word that means the same, but a higher level word. I remember I had a bookshelf full of them because I knew that I wanted my kids to open their mouth and sound like they're on top of their game.
That's that growth mindset.